Hello. Today's episode number 36 of the Professor Slots podcast discusses Winning Strategy 7, Return Afterward. Plus, in this episode, I'll be covering the current state of slot machine casino gambling in the great U.S. states of Oregon and Pennsylvania, as well as the great U.S. territory of Puerto Rico. Thank you for joining me for the Professor Slots podcast show. I'm John Friedel, and this is the podcast about slot machine casino gambling. It is where I provide knowledge, insights, and tools for helping you improve your slot machine gambling performance.
John Friedel from the Professor Slots blog reveals all his tips and tricks for thriving in the casino environment. Choose winning slot machines and identify your gambling goals. Being entertained, earning comps, winning take-home cash, or combining them. John has won 90 taxable jackpots and a luxury car in 9 months of slot play and made a profit at slots gambling since 2013.
In case you missed it, on last week's episode, I went over Winning Strategy 6, High-Limit Slots Tricks, where I introduced the idea of making the most of inexpensive winning strategies by using them in high-limit slots areas while presenting a new and inexpensive winning slots strategy. Also last week, I reviewed Northern Mariana Islands, Ohio, and Oklahoma slot machine casino gambling. In Northern Mariana Islands, there are 7 casinos on the 2 main islands as well as visiting cruise ships. In Ohio, there are 11 casinos, of which all but 4 are actually pari-mutuel racinos having video lottery terminals. And Oklahoma has 130 tribal casinos as well as 2 pari-mutuel racinos. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Let's get started with the first segment of the show, Win, Walk Away, Return Later, also known as Winning Strategy 7. This winning strategy has been my mainstay. I've depended on it when earning the most taxable jackpots. As with other winning strategies, whether or not it works isn't about how lucky you are. Rather, it is based on how a specific casino has set up their operating system to run their slot machines. As I've mentioned in the past, I cannot give you more luck. Luck is completely random. Luck isn't something either you or I have control over. I can't make you any more lucky by simply wishing it were so. However, what I can provide is an edge by explaining the actions casinos get to choose from when setting up their system of slot machines. Also, as previously discussed, casinos have a selection of possible setups, thanks to their new casino operating systems. These rather expensive new systems, which includes a central computer to which every slot machine is connected and controlled, provide casinos with 3 financial advantages. 1. Being able to handle larger and larger casino crowds. 2. Having the opportunity to tune their financial performance metrics daily or multiple times per day. And 3. Reducing their slot mechanic workforce, who'd previously changed slot machine odds of winning by opening and physically adjusting each machine one by one over a relatively long period of time. With this Winning Strategy 7, I will discuss the winning pattern I recognized and used extensively at one casino which had, whether they realized it or not, been set up in such a way that allowed an observant slots player to win more often than otherwise. This episode segment has the following subsections. 1. An introduction. 2. Personally, my most successful winning strategy. 3. What might you accomplish with this winning strategy? 4. How to implement Winning Strategy 7. 5. Why does this strategy work at all? 6. Finding a slot machine with improved odds of winning. 7. Known disadvantages of Winning Strategy 7. 8. Does this strategy work at your casino? And 9. A summary. My Win, Walk Away, Return Later Winning Strategy 7 has been, for me personally, my most successful strategy. It's what I've employed to win the most number of jackpots, if not the most amount of profit. With it, I also used it to cycle bankrolls again and again to earn more players' club points to advance to tier levels all the way to the top tier, twice. Because this was my most used personal winning strategy, I need to tell you what my own winning goals were at the time. Now, of course, my goal is centered around being of service to you. Now, I gamble to learn and then explain. But back when I was using this winning strategy 7, my gambling goal was threefold. Yes, from almost the beginning I wanted to learn. Then, if I could learn enough to actually be useful, I'd still have to figure out how to explain it to someone else, maybe a lot of someone else's. My other gambling goals at the time also started from wanting to make money, a profit. Not much later, I added wanting to maximize complimentary gifts. So my gambling goals of the day were learning, making money, and earning comps. To accomplish these 3 equal goals, all I did was play high-limit slot machines. These were typically 2-credit, $10 denomination, or 3 or 5-credit, $5 denomination slot machines. I usually played only a few specific slot machines, as it's easier to apply this winning strategy to a limited number of machines, as I will explain momentarily. The slot machine game theme I played the most was a row of Wheel of Fortune slot machines from IGT. I wish I could be more specific about which Wheel of Fortune slot machines I was playing. It would be months before I uncovered just how many different Wheel of Fortune games existed. At the moment, for example, IGT has a webpage showing 53 different versions of their Wheel of Fortune game theme. Of those machines I played, I only remember credits, denominations, and how many reels they had. It also had a big wheel on top. Again, that's not very specific. So winning strategy 7 was my most successful winning strategy, where winning meant I was learning while earning both a profit and players' club rewards points for all the best comps. Why is this important? Specifically, why are my gambling goals important to you? Because now you have a better idea what I was trying to accomplish. To make take-home money, I decided I needed taxable jackpots from high-limit slot machines. To earn players' rewards credits, and thereby earn an assortment of food, travel, event, and hand-carry gifts, I needed to be able to cycle bankrolls. It's been a while since I've mentioned this, but there's more than one kind of winning slot machine. Sometimes it's more obvious than others. It's typically obvious when someone wins a taxable jackpot, but it's not obvious if the player is making a profit, or if that player is only playing one slot machine for a long period, whether or not that slot machine has relatively high odds of winning within the time he or she is playing. What is even less obvious is whether someone spending a long time playing a single slot machine is cycling bankrolls. This could be done while winning taxable jackpots, of course. But a series of jackpots under the $1,200 taxable limit can also go relatively unnoticed by most observers if the player immediately cancels the distinct sequence of lights and sounds from a jackpot roll-up. To not draw undue attention, I always canceled the roll-up. Do you? I know it's fun to let the lights and sounds play. It's very gratifying in its way. But for me, it's wasted time. I'd rather be playing while the playing was good. So with this winning strategy, winning for me meant a combination of taxable jackpots as well as cycling bankrolls. It also meant both. I could have both at once. Having both at once, which did happen, was an especially winning slot machine. But having either one alone was too. For you to use this winning strategy, you'll need to know your own gambling goals. If you want taxable jackpots, then you want a slot machine that provides them. If you want comps, then you only need a slot machine that cycles bankrolls. High-limit slot machines are not necessary when implementing this winning strategy. Not at all. Don't feel like you need to place bets on high-limit slot machines because I did. I've only mentioned them here as this is primarily where my experience lies when implementing this strategy for myself. As I mentioned, at the time I was implementing winning strategy 7, I had 3 gambling goals. I have already mentioned making money and earning comps. But what about my learning goal? My learning goal is to both learn what works, how it works, and then explain it to others in as clear and concise manner as I can manage. And that learning goal all started with winning strategy 7. While I've mentioned this winning strategy as last in the series, I actually learned it first. As such, I decided from the very beginning that, of all the winning strategies I might learn, this is the one I would give away for free. And so I have, from the beginning. When anyone asked how I was a top-tier status player, how I'd gotten that free comp, why I was on that cruise, or how I was winning so many jackpots during a single session, I would tell them exactly what I was doing as my best slot machine gambling advice. Here it is. After winning a decent-sized jackpot, go home. Go home, then come back 1 week later to play the exact same machine, starting about 5 to 10 minutes before the time when the prior jackpot was originally won the week before. Be aware that this advice doesn't necessarily apply on days of special events, such as holidays or other special casino events. Examples when this strategy might not perform well include banking holidays, major sporting events, or even when an unusually large promotional event is taking place at the casino. On those less than usual days at a casino, I'd instead recommend you consider implementing either Winning Strategy 4, Special Events Winning Strategies, or Winning Strategy 5, Reliable Holiday Patterns. These are podcast episodes 33 and 34, respectively. However, this gambling rule actually does apply for events exactly 1 week apart. For example, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are, from the point of view of implementing Winning Strategy 7, very similar. Relatively similar casino conditions, the overall level of activity, tend to exist on both of these days. For that specific winning slot machine, or for whatever reason in fact exists for it to be a winner, that time of day on that day of the week had a higher than usual odds of winning a jackpot. So play it again at that same time on that day of the week to see if the reason it was happening in the first place is still in effect. A good question to ask is why this strategy works at all. Here's my reasoning for why. As we know now occurs at newer casinos, their owners have installed an operating system which includes a central computer to control the odds of winning on each slot machine. Whatever specific details are involved, the intent of this central computer is to adjust the odds as needed to meet the casino's financial performance metrics, some of which are legally required within their gaming jurisdiction. And that's it. That's my reasoning. From a financial perspective, casino operators are adjusting the odds of their slots depending on how their day is going. As interesting as it may be from an academic point of view, we don't need to know what exactly they are adjusting for, or even how they are doing financially for the day. Just knowing that the slot machines are indeed being adjusted so often means our task is, instead, to go out and find those specific slot machines adjusted to have the best odds of winning at particular times of day on particular days of the week. This winning strategy is, using a higher level explanation, all about rhythm. It takes advantage of the casino's rhythm. As most gamblers know, every day of the week has a different feel at the casino. Mondays at a casino are a little bit different from Tuesdays, and Tuesdays are a little bit different from Wednesdays. But Fridays are different from all other weekdays, and Saturdays are not like Sundays, yet both are different from any weekday. What you are feeling each day is real. Casinos have an operating rhythm. Based on many events we don't have to understand. This winning strategy works to sync your slots gambling sessions into that rhythm. It attempts to exploit it, to anticipate seeing it recur the next week at the same time on the same slot machine. So, how do we go about doing that? Here's a few ways to find the specific days and times when a specific slot machine has improved odds of winning. Since many of the gamblers I speak with often have decades more gambling experience than I currently have, I usually just get straight to the heart of what I have to offer during get-to-know-you conversations with accomplished gamblers. I explain that, yes, I have one thing to say that I share during conversations like this, which is this winning strategy. I also say that I should probably find something else to share that isn't quite so powerful a winning strategy. These are gamblers who already understand the process for winning jackpots resulting in a W-2G tax form. So I tell them to look at their own jackpot receipts for the slot machine serial number, along with the date of the jackpot and the time of the jackpot they themselves received. What I'm telling them is that the day of the week and the time of that particular jackpot for that specific slot machine is a good time to play that machine, with improved odds of winning. Most of the time, just to repeat for emphasis, the cause of that particular time being a good time doesn't really matter. It just is, and your own gambling records are capable of showing it as a good time and place. So I say, use your own information. Another way to determine which specific slot machine has a specific day and time where it has improved odds of winning is to simply win a jackpot. You may already be doing that right now. Since you're playing it, you already like that machine. And obviously, you're available to be at the casino at that time and day of the week. So why wouldn't you make an effort to play it again 1 week after winning a jackpot, perhaps starting 5 to 10 minutes earlier? When winning a jackpot, whether it is taxable or not, make a note of the date, time, and serial number to know when to return to play that same machine a week later. The intent here is to play through the same time of day on the same day of the week and on the same slot machine as when you'd previously won, but perhaps starting a few minutes earlier. However, if you don't have a history of playing at a particular casino, how might you go about implementing it? How do you find those slot machines paying out jackpots? Remember, you're looking for slot machines having either relatively large winnings, or you want a bankroll cycling machine where many smaller jackpots let their players maintain a near constant bankroll for long periods of time. How do you find a slot machine with improved odds of winning? Well, take a seat and watch. Frankly, the precise times and specific slot machines that show a winning jackpot don't have to be yours. I've always wondered if, after one of my many recorded jackpots, I would return to find someone familiar sitting at that slot machine and playing it through the good time period I'd uncovered, and perhaps foolishly previously told them about. This was of special concern to me since this was the one strategy I'd shared in many conversations with my fellow gamblers. However, I never saw it happen. This may have been because of my habit of gambling at odd times of the day. Let's talk about the known disadvantages of winning strategy 7. First off, I don't want you to get in trouble. I don't want you to get into trouble financially or, well, legally. As always, don't ever take any money to the casino which you are not able to easily afford to lose. That's always my gambling rule number 1. Second, this winning strategy is problematic. It simply cannot work if you're not going to be at the casino a week later. Maybe you're vacationing in another state. Maybe you're traveling for work. Whatever the case may be, sometimes you won't be around a week later. As I found out for myself, so much for trying this winning strategy during my annual 4-day 7 stars comped trip to Las Vegas. A more subtle potential issue to be very, very careful about is this. The requirement of this winning strategy 7 is to record possibly many specific times, days, and slot machines into some sort of calendar. If you are going to be doing this while at a casino, you'll need to use a pen or pencil along with a piece of paper for this. Don't use your smartphone to take notes while in a casino. I'll repeat that. Don't use your smartphone to take notes while in a casino. Using an electronic device as a gambling tool, which is what you'll be doing if you use your smartphone to record these times, days, and slot machines on one while you're at a casino. In most states, using an electronic device as a gambling tool is a felony. Please take this concern very seriously. Casinos don't mess around with what they and their state gaming regulations consider cheating. For example, in the news lately, Charles Oakley, formerly a Knicks team member, was arrested himself for cheating. Never give a casino a reason, whether it seems reasonable or not to you, to think you are a cheater. I really should make this my gambling rule number 2. Another less serious disadvantage of this strategy is that it also applies to smaller jackpots, but these are more difficult to effectively record. Most of the time, lower limit slot machines don't pay out taxable jackpots. Instead, any winnings tend to be smaller, so it's more likely a low-limit winning slot machine will simply be cycling bankrolls, while the bankroll being used never quite gets spent, sometimes for hours on end. If a player's gambling goal is to increase players' club points, then picking times, days, and specific slot machines when bankroll cycling has occurred a week or two before is useful. Players can accumulate those points for complimentary gifts, or to eventually advance to the next player tier with that tier's own set of complimentary gifts now available to the player simply for having advanced. You know when your bankroll is cycling. But originally finding a winning slot machine is not exactly what this winning strategy is about. It's mostly about what to do when you do find a winning slot machine. But let's take a moment to discuss finding a winning slot machine when, getting started, you don't know of any. You can visit the high-limit slots area and wait for a slot attendant to service a taxable jackpot. But finding a winning slot machine, which is also a low-limit slot machine, can be a little more difficult. For low-limit slot machines, you'll need to be more observant than really needed in a high-limit slots area. First, find the area of the casino with slot machine denominations for which you are comfortable having a bankroll for. Next, watch for any player not immediately canceling their roll-up, that sequence of lights and sounds which automatically occur after any jackpot, unless canceled quickly by the player pressing another button on the machine's console. That's potentially a low-limit slot machine with improved odds of winning. I'd recommend watching it for a while to see if that one roll-up was a singular event, or if it's one of many. If it's one of many, you can decide for yourself if coming back to it a week later would be worthwhile, if you know to watch for it. But only if you know to watch for it. Someone who always immediately cancels their roll-up is rather obvious. At least, I always thought it was obvious when I did it. You'll have to watch the reels, of course, or you may miss seeing the jackpot. Plus, it can be hard to immediately stop the roll-up. By mistake sometimes, the first little bing sound or light flash gets out. Listen and watch for that too. To touch again on the reason for good or bad time periods to play a specific slot machine, this time somewhat deeper, there are several possibilities. Some of the likely reasons have already been discussed in detail, such as during and the morning after special events, including various holidays, giveaways, and local sporting events. Other reasons for these good and bad time periods is based on the casino operators being in near full control of their financial returns, with the possible exception of having immediate, to the second, real-time knowledge. Such reasons can sometimes be discerned by a savvy gambler that spends hours of time several days of the week at a casino. Other reasons, however, are not a matter of public knowledge. That is to say, it's company proprietary to the corporate officers of the casino operator. These reasons include, is attendance less than usual? If so, that's cause for the casino operator to set up more bad time periods. Similarly, the reverse is true regarding higher than normal attendance. Other questions are, how is the overall economy going? Has there been a sudden downturn in the stock price of the casino operator? Or a sharp upswing in its stock price? Has there been a scandal? The beginning of bankruptcy proceedings? Is the casino operator about to undergo a change in ownership, or an important change in the ratio of its owners' ownership percentages? Is it April, when the gambling season typically starts? Is the casino new, or has it been heavily renovated, and trying to establish a good reputation with potential patrons within its first year of opening? Is the end of the financial month, quarter, or year approaching, and the planned financial revenues appear to be falling short, or perhaps exceeding expectations? If you have extensive business skills, then you are quite likely to distinguish between good and bad periods simply due to your professional business acumen. To you, I offer my sincere appreciation of your skills. For the rest of us, let's take a step back for a moment and look at the big picture. It doesn't really matter why a casino does this, just whether or not they do it. A good analogy here is a slot machine's random number generator. Somewhere in the casino, but more likely within the slot machine manufacturers, who also happen to supply new casino operating systems, someone knows what the odds of winning are. They know the timing, the details, the circuitry, and everything about what makes that slot machine win. But, like knowing the inner workings of a casino business, we don't have access to the circuit board designs for modern slot machines. It's simply not available to us. And even if we had either, it'd probably be illegal to share. So, let's not go that insider route because, well, we can't. Instead, let's look for patterns. Humans are good at pattern recognition. That's what we're really good at when all else is said and done. So, as experts in pattern recognition, let's take that approach. Whether the strategy works at your local casino, or a casino you might visit, is up to you to find out. Further, I heartily recommend not doing any more slots gambling that you are doing already. What I am recommending is a way to pick a slot machine to play when you do gamble. It may take some small amount of effort to simply observe over a few visits to a casino. It may also take some careful record keeping, some notes with pen and paper, to make this work. In summary, this winning strategy 7, win, walk away, return later, is the last episode in the series of 7 winning slots strategies. With it, a savvy slots enthusiast such as yourself can take advantage of casinos that have set up their slot machines to perform this way. Naturally, a casino won't knowingly set up their slot machines to be winners, but my best understanding is that this winning strategy is invisible to them. Why? Because it's a less than obvious consequence of their using new casino operating systems to automate slot machines' odds of winning to, in part, meet their daily performance metrics. Will casinos ever notice this winning strategy and take steps to eliminate it? Maybe, maybe not. Certainly some casinos don't have this type of system set up. But casinos get such large financial advantages from using these operating systems that, from a business perspective, it would be a very difficult financial advantage to give up. It might well be impossible for them to do so. But it doesn't have to be deliberate stoppage of our winning with this strategy. What I've found is, at my local casino where I once extensively used this strategy, it disappeared practically overnight when that casino underwent a significant ownership change. So, as usual with all my winning strategies, observe first. Look for what works. Don't spend any more than you are going to spend anyway, and if you find something that works, tell me. Kidding. Seriously, if you find something that works, keep a close eye on it. Ride it while it lasts, but expect change to eventually happen. Too many of my friends, fellow high-limit slots players, weren't able to adjust their play when overall circumstances changed. Winning at slots is not entirely about luck anymore. Yes, it's still a part of the experience. But now, so is casino-wide automated operating systems. Learn to take advantage of them, if or when an advantage is, for a while, possible. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Up next is the second segment of the show on slot machine casino gambling. Here, I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in 3 U.S. states, territories, or federal district, emphasizing, by far, anything of interest to slot machine casino gamblers. Up first is Oregon Slot Machine Casino Gambling 2018. Here goes. Oregon Slot Machine Casino Gambling consists of 9 Native American tribal casinos. However, Oregon state law allows bars and taverns to have up to 6 video lottery terminals, that is to say VLT-style slot machines. Going forward, I'll be using the acronym VLT for Video Lottery Terminal-style slot machines. Further, pari-mutuel wagering facilities are allowed to have up to 10 VLTs. The maximum bet is $2.50, with a maximum payout of $600. According to the Oregon Lottery, VLTs have an annual payout return percentage of 92.22% from mid-2016 to mid-2017. The Portland Metals Racetrack has instant racing betting machines, but while they appear to be traditional slot machines, are actually based on prior and anonymous racing results, with spinning reels for entertainment purposes only. Off-track betting, operated under the Portland Metals State Gaming License, is offered at 11 sites across the state. The minimum legal age for gambling in Oregon is either 18 or 21, depending upon the specific gambling establishment. For pari-mutuel wagering and participation in lottery activities, the minimum legal age is 18. The VLT slot machines available in Oregon are like video slot machines, except they are regulated by the Oregon Lottery Commission, which receives a portion of each machine's revenue. Next up is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I have included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. It is legal to privately own a slot machine in the state of Oregon if it is 25 years old or older. As VLTs, the slot machines in the U.S. state of Oregon are controlled by the Oregon Lottery. Its mission is set forth in Oregon's state constitution, specifically in Article 15, Section 4, entitled Regulation of Lotteries, State Lottery, Use of Proceeds from State Lottery. Quote, operate a lottery with the highest standards of security and integrity to earn maximum profits for the people of Oregon commensurate with the public good. End quote. The governing board of the Oregon Lottery is a 5-member lottery commission, each appointed by the governor for 4-year terms. The state senate must confirm all such appointments. At least one commissioner is required to have at least 5 years' experience in law enforcement. Also, at least one other commissioner must be a certified public accountant. Finally, no more than 3 commissioners can be affiliated with the same political party. The Oregon Lottery is the state's second largest revenue producer after personal income tax. Since 1985, the Oregon Lottery has had $11 billion contributed to the state, $9 billion transferred to help support public education, economic development, state parks, and watershed enhancement, $28 billion prizes paid to players, and 1.5% of net proceeds deposited into a Veterans Services Fund created by the state legislature. In this next section, I'll discuss Oregon gambling establishments. As usual, the website links for each casino, assuming they have set up a website, is available by clicking on this segment in the show notes available at professorslots.com/E36. The largest casino in Oregon is the Spirit Mountain Casino. It has 2,000 gaming machines and 49 table games. The second largest is Wild Horse Resort and Casino, having 1,200 gaming machines and 17 table games. According to the Tribal State Gaming Compacts, Oregon's 9 tribal casinos are not required to either report their payout returns, nor is there a required minimum payout return. The 9 Native American tribal casinos in Oregon are 1. Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City, 2. Indian Head Casino in Warm Springs, 3. Tla-Mo-Ya Casino in Chiloquin, 4. The Mill Casino Hotel in North Bend, 5. Seven Feathers Casino Resort in Canyonville, 6. Spirit Mountain Casino in Grand Ronde, 7. Three Rivers Casino and Hotel in Florence, 8. Three Rivers Casino in Coos Bay, 9. Wild Horse Resort and Casino in Pendleton. In summary, Oregon slot machine casino gambling consists of 9 Native American tribal casinos with video lottery terminal-style slot machines run by the Oregon Lottery. Oregon state law also permits a half dozen VLTs in bars, with racinos allowed to have up to 10 VLTs. The maximum bet is $2.50, with a maximum payout of $600. The video lottery terminal-style slot machines available in Oregon are like video slot machines, except they are regulated by the Oregon Lottery Commission, which receives a portion of each machine's revenue. According to the Oregon Lottery, from mid-2016 through mid-2017, VLTs had an annual actual payout return of 92.22%. Remember to visit professorslots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Up next is Pennsylvania Slot Machine Casino Gambling 2018. Here goes. Pennsylvania slot machine casino gambling consists of a maximum of 14 casinos, as approved by the Pennsylvania legislature in 2004. These locations include 7 racinos, 5 standalone casinos, and 2 casino resorts. 1 racino and 1 standalone casino have yet to open. Pennsylvania law requires gaming machines return a minimum payout return of 85%. Actual annual payout returns have most recently ranged from 89.22% to 90.95% at all currently open Pennsylvania casinos. Of interest not only to online slots gamblers, the Pennsylvania House passed a law in 2017 to legalize casino gambling at truck stops, airports, and online. It was signed into law by Governor Tom Wolf on October 30th, 2017. The bill also authorized 10 new satellite casinos, with some location restrictions. The minimum legal age for gambling in Pennsylvania casinos is 21, where the state lottery, parimutuel wagering, and bingo it is 18. The Pennsylvania Racehorse Development and Gaming Act was passed in 2004, legalizing slot machines at 14 locations beginning in 2006. Since July 2010, casinos in Pennsylvania have been allowed to operate table games. The racinos and standalone casinos are allowed 5,000 slot machines and 250 table games, while the casino resorts are limited to 600 slot machines and 50 table games. The 10 additional casinos will be so-called satellite casinos, operated by an existing owner of a Pennsylvania casino but limited to be within 25 miles. Municipalities have the option to prohibit such a casino. These satellite casino licenses will allow up to 750 slot machines and 30 table games. Truck stops may have up to 5 slot machines, again assuming approval from the county they are located within. Casino operators may operate a gambling parlor at any of Pennsylvania's international and regional airports, assuming agreements can eventually be reached with an airport authority. Regarding slot machine private ownership, it is legal to privately own a slot machine in the state of Pennsylvania if it is 25 years old or older. The Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board is the governmental agency of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania responsible for overseeing slot machines and casino gambling in the state. The Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board does not oversee the state lottery or charitable gaming. Their mission statement reads, quote, "The Pennsylvania Gaming Control Board, guided by the Gaming Act and supported by a dedicated professional staff, will protect the interests of the public by ensuring the integrity of legalized gaming through the strict enforcement of the law and regulations, the licensing of qualified individuals and entities, and fulfilling the objectives of legalized gaming in the Commonwealth to deliver a significant source of revenue, assist the horse racing industry, provide broad economic opportunities, and enhance tourism." End quote. Of the 14 locations legally allowed to have casinos in Pennsylvania, 2 are not yet open. Also, none of the 10 recently approved satellite casinos have yet to open. The last of the standalone casinos, South Philadelphia Live Hotel and Casino, is expected to open in late 2018. It will be located at 900 Packer Avenue, close to Lincoln Financial Field, Citizens Bank Park, and Wells Fargo Center. The largest casino in Pennsylvania is the Parks Casino and Racing. It has 3,500 gaming machines and 130 table games. The second largest is Sands Casino Resort Bethlehem with 3,000 gaming machines and 200 table games. The 12 currently open Pennsylvania casinos to follow include annual payout return percentages from mid-2016 through mid-2017. The casino with the highest payout return was Parks Casino and Racing in Bensalem with 90.95%, while the casino with the lowest return was Hollywood Casino in Penn National in Harrisburg with 89.22%. To gamble within a casino resort, players must be a guest of the casino resort. Put another way, the gaming floors within the casino resorts are not open to the general public. The 12 currently available Pennsylvania casinos are 1. Harrah's Philadelphia Casino and Racetrack in Chester, 8 miles south of Philadelphia Airport. It is a pari-mutuel racino and has a payout return of 90.07%. 2. Hollywood Casino in Penn National in Grantville, 16 miles northeast of Harrisburg. It is a pari-mutuel racino and has a payout return of 89.22%. 3. Lady Luck Nemacolin in Farmington, 60 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. This is a casino resort and has a payout return of 89.35%. 4. The Meadows Racetrack and Casino in Washington, 25 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. This is a pari-mutuel racino and has a payout return of 90.06%. 5. Mohegan Sun in Conoco Downs in Wilkes-Barre, 20 miles southwest of Scranton. It is a pari-mutuel racino and has a payout return of 90.17%. 6. Mount Airy Resort and Casino in Mount Pocono, 30 miles southeast of Scranton. It is a standalone casino and has a payout return of 90.36%. 7. Parks Casino and Racing in Bensalem, 18 miles northeast of Philadelphia. This is a pari-mutuel racino and has a payout return of 90.95%. 8. Presque Isle Downs and Casino in Erie, 125 miles north of Pittsburgh. It is a pari-mutuel racino and has a payout return of 89.44%. 9. Rivers Casino in Pittsburgh. This is a standalone casino with a payout return of 89.72%. 10. Sands Casino Resort, Bethlehem. This is in Bethlehem, 60 miles north of Philadelphia. It is a standalone casino and has a payout return of 89.93%. 11. Sugar House Casino in Philadelphia. It is a standalone casino with a payout return of 89.68%. And 12. Valley Forge Convention Center Casino in King of Prussia, 15 miles northwest of Philadelphia. This is a casino resort and has a payout return of 90.59%. In summary, Pennsylvania slot machine casino gambling consists of a maximum of 14 casinos, as approved by the Pennsylvania legislature in 2004. These locations include 7 racinos, 5 standalone casinos, and 2 casino resorts. 1 racino has yet to open. The remaining standalone casino, located in South Philadelphia, is expected to open in late 2018. Pennsylvania law requires gaming machines return a minimum payout return of 85%. Actual annual payout returns have most recently ranged from 89.22% to 90.95%. The Pennsylvania House passed a law in October 2017 substantially changing options for slots gambling in Pennsylvania. In general, these changes include legalized casino gambling at truck stops, airports, satellite casinos, and online. While most of these changes require approval from local municipalities, these are 1. Truck stops are allowed up to 5 slot machines. 2. Existing casino operators in Pennsylvania can work with airport authorities to open on-site gambling areas. 3. 10 satellite casinos with up to 750 gaming machines and 30 table games can be opened within 25 miles of an existing casino location. And 4. Online gambling is now legal. Although the sports betting aspect of online gambling is awaiting changes in federal law before actually being legal in Pennsylvania. If you follow the sports betting developments in the United States, you will recall that the U.S. Supreme Court removed that restriction earlier this year. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Up next is the third of 3 states or territories comprising this episode segment, Puerto Rico Slot Machine Casino Gambling 2018. Here goes. Prior to Hurricane Maria's arrival in September of 2017, Puerto Rico Slot Machine Casino Gambling consisted of 16 casinos as well as casinos on visiting cruise ships. San Juan itself had 5 casinos. However, the widespread devastation visited upon Puerto Rico by Hurricane Maria has left much in doubt regarding the state of gambling. Frankly, not having a consistently functioning electrical grid for some time makes the likelihood of gaming machines being operational quite problematic. Further, there is no assessment available regarding the current condition of gambling facilities. A recent news update indicates that most electrical services have been restored to Puerto Rico, but whether the casinos have been rebuilt and reopened is uncertain. If you wish to gamble in Puerto Rico, you are advised to check for casino status in advance. Officially the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, this unincorporated U.S. territory is located in the northeast Caribbean Sea. It includes the main island of Puerto Rico, with its capital of San Juan, as well as Mona, Culebra, Vieques, and other smaller islands. The population of Puerto Ricans is approximately 3.4 million and are, by law, natural-born citizens of the United States. The Commonwealth of Puerto Rico consists of 5,320 square miles, of which 3,420 square miles is land. Puerto Rico is individually larger than each of the U.S. states, Delaware and Rhode Island. In late September 2017, Hurricane Maria devastated Puerto Rico. The island's electrical grid was largely destroyed, resulting in the largest power outage in American history. Due to a slow recovery, although progress is being made, over 200,000 residents moved to Florida alone by late November 2017. The minimum legal age for gambling in Puerto Rico is unknown. Regarding slot machine private ownership, the legal status for privately owning a slot machine in the territory of Puerto Rico is unknown. Online information for the Gaming Commission of Puerto Rico was inaccessible the last time I tried. Actual payout return statistics are not known to be available. Prior to the late September 2017 Hurricane Maria, there were 16 casinos listed as being available in Puerto Rico. For a list of these casinos, please see ProfessorSlots.com/E36 for a listing under the heading of Puerto Rico slot machine casino gambling. In summary, in part due to the devastation inflicted to Puerto Rico, there is limited information available with regards to the current status of Puerto Rico slot machine casino gambling. Prior to late 2017, before Hurricane Maria, Puerto Rico had 16 casinos in operation, most connected to well-known hotel chains such as Embassy Suites, Hilton, Holiday Inn, Hyatt, Marriott, Radisson, Ritz-Carlton, Westin, and Wyndham. If you plan on visiting Puerto Rico to visit a casino, you may very well want to contact those well-known hotel chains I just mentioned, perhaps visit their websites, to see if their hotels in Puerto Rico are currently open. Remember to visit ProfessorSlots.com/subscribe to get my free report revealing the top 7 online resources for improving your gambling performance, including the one I've used as a top-tier slot machine casino gambler. Part 1 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is still under development. I'll likely make a change of pace from winning strategies. Maybe something on slots history? Let me know if you have a preference. As I've mentioned previously, there's actually quite a bit to talk about, but I'm glad to have gotten through all of my winning slot strategies. For now, anyway. Part 2 of the next episode of the Professor Slots podcast is more brief overviews of the current state of gambling in 3 U.S. states, territories, or federal district. Next time, I'll be talking to you about the great U.S. states of Rhode Island, South Carolina, and South Dakota. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Show notes for this episode are now available within most podcast apps, but are also available on my website at ProfessorSlots.com/E36. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you, where I'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.